wonderful. One of the things I enjoy about these sessions is the diversity of people here, because you get to see communications from lots of different angles. So we had people from charities, people from big banks, people from consultancies, people from Philips. So I like the fact that he brings different views into the room on common problems.
It's absolutely the area where it has to be strategically embedded in the boardroom.
Everybody should be doing this. There is not an organisation for whom this is not relevant.
Internal comms moving from the news feeding or the journalist role into a more business partner.
We need to be recognizing ourselves as communicators and what we bring to the table, because I think we are not good at really promoting ourselves and all the good that we bring to the organization.
What's our purpose? What is the, not just deploying what's on our job description, but actually what impact are we having on society, what impact are we having on the consumer, and why should I be proud of that, and how can I play my part in doing it?
So this for me was actually something that I liked that I saw in the different presentations.
So did you think that there were any particular issues that were common across these sort of diverse group of people?
Change technology, or change and technology as an enabler.
And I also like the SAP, the talk about the open spaces where people come and brainstorm and how they segmented their audiences, which I think is a great step, which you then need to take further probably.
Because you just hit it for me, like you're communicating with people and then you have a diverse group. People with different, the millennial, like they want to talk gadgets and dynamic stuff, and then you have the nerdy people, and then you have different people, and that's how a basic office is. So in your mind, when you were talking, I was just thinking to myself that in my mind, if I can divide my group like this, I should be able to achieve results.
I think that there was the point made that external brands come from your internal communications and your internal culture, and that was just something that really resonated with me as something that we need to bring back to the organization, just the importance of that.
There's been a lot of very interesting conversations around how corporate brands need to be built from within. And I think that's quite, let's say, emerging trend. And we've even heard from some speakers that internal communication brand teams should actually be sitting together.
Philips process to launch a new brand, I loved it. It was brilliant. It always helps, obviously, when you're showing video in a presentation, but I got quite emotional just watching the one which was the launch video, and I thought it was great how they got all the employees involved. It was great, the actual personal stories that they got from the employees. Great to see the media impact that had. Yeah, it was a brilliant campaign. It's the kind of campaign that as an internal comms person you would love to work on.
I love the way he put it inside out, to think about how you bring what's within your organisation around that brand and really externalise it. And the way he elevated the voice of the colleague and the colleague storytelling and the colleague pride and took that externally with that business was really inspiring.
Actually, your brand is your people. And I know you and I know that, but actually there's still a disconnect sometimes between the marketing function being the guardians of brand and the people function, and actually getting them in the room together to work together in a collaborative and an impactful way.
How do you find the right line between advising and helping with strategies and plans on one hand, and then the need to help people implement these strategies? Because I think just advising and creating strategies runs a bit short of the needs that a company has.
It was very interesting hearing Liz from Elsevier. She had a lot of practical advice for how to encourage staff to share stories, which I think is really important.
that corporate and internal comms sometimes don't work together as well as they could. It's something that I'm very, very focused on in my current role, but equally I think it's something we as an industry generally need to be really conscious of. I think working with our external counterparts to make sure that external stories match internal realities is really important.
And that's the bit, and making sure that it's a sense of purpose that's communicated in a way that really engages people. You know, that colleagues are totally involved in, not something that's coming down from on high from the corporation saying you will think this and you will feel this.
The elephant metaphor, you know, the rider is more the rational side and the elephant is really the emotional side, right? And so it seems like with that elephant, it's a lot harder to steer that elephant maybe than the rider, so you need that rider to take control. I mean, so it just shows us we as internal communications managers have to really think about the emotional side what's going on in the company and how we can shift those and direct those emotions. How important is that internal communications is close to the leadership. Also serving as a sounding board and guiding our leaders to be better communicators.
And do it in their own voice, I think, as well, because that's becoming more apparent with the authenticity of leadership.
That was also a big message today, that getting line managers, having them well trained in communication, that they're really pushing these messages, that they're good communicators, and that would also be a role of internal communications, and to make those line managers better communicators.
My highlight is definitely the fact that organizations are beginning to understand how employee or internal communications add value, and if we've got the right metrics, we can demonstrate that value that we've added in business terms, be it dollars or other KPIs.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you on that, and I think in particular hearing from a government area like the Home Office and really seeing how advanced they are with their measurement and with their thoughts around analytics, that's a real takeaway, and having online tools that are available to the public as a general, that's very forward thinking, very open.
Communities are really generous and they start to help each other and they really enjoy working with each other regardless of kind of who you are and whether they know you or not. And that's quite an inspiring thing to watch happen as people across the kind of businesses connect and actually help each other, and something that we see a lot.
Through these type of enterprise social networks, we can maybe foster that collaboration, and maybe internal communications can help to channel that or focus it or be advocates for that and get people to use it more in the organization.
Really interesting is that gamification is coming up increasingly importantly in comms, and we had quite a few people talk about it, from the guy that was talking about gamification in abstract terms to the gentleman from MetLife who literally said we made a jigsaw of our strategy and got our employees to be very hands-on with regards to kind of playing with it and understanding it through that way.
No matter what company or sector we come from, I think we are in agreement on one thing, and here I'm going to quote one of the speakers. We want to turn internal communications from SOS into SBS. From sending out stuff to being a strategic business partner supporting business strategy. So we see that our priorities are the same. We want to impact the business results. We want to show our worth, our value to the business. We want to help the business achieve its objectives. And we want to measure what we do.
So what is the first thing going to be that you do when you go home?
Okay, apart from the report, but the good part of it is that my report has some action points directed at different people. I have my action points and I have the organization's action points.
First thing I'm going to do when I get home? I don't know, actually. Let me think for a minute. I think we're actually, one thing I'm going to do, it's funny, it's my own topic, but design thinking. I've got a meeting in just 2 days with some design thinking coaches to tackle